hero.
Why do you support Vladimir Putin, Mr. Segal?
I can't answer questions that stupid. Yeah, sorry.
Why is it a stupid question? It's just an open question.
I think it's pretty stupid, and I think you know the answer.
This is my video update on this Thursday afternoon, May the 9th. Let's talk about some news. And of course, the big story today is the date, May the 9th, Victory Day, Den Babedi. A happy Victory Day to the entire world. And a big thank you to the brave soldiers, the brave people of the Soviet Union, of all the Allied forces who fought against the Nazis and the fascists in World War II. Let me read you one second here. Let me read you this quote from Ernest Hemingway. Anyone who loves freedom owes such a debt to the Red Army that it can never be repaid. And then we have this quote from Zhukov. It's worth noting on today of all days that Zhukov made a very prophetic statement. We liberated Europe from fascism, but they will never forgive us for it. That's a post on X from the Sirius Report. So we had the big parade this morning in Moscow to commemorate Victory Day. And Putin gave an amazing speech, and he said some very interesting things on Red Square.
Никому не позволим угрожать нам. Наши стратегические силы всегда в боевой готовности. На Западе хотели бы забыть уроки Второй мировой войны. А мы помним, что судьба человечества решалась в грандиозных битвах под Москвой и Ленинградом, Ржевом, Сталинградом, Курском и Харьковом, под Минском, Смоленском и Киевом. В тяжелых, кровопролитных боях от Мурманска до Кавказа и Крыма. 3 первых долгих, труднейших года Великой Отечественной войны Советский Союз, все республики бывшего Советского Союза практически 1 на 1 сражались с нацистами.
Let's now talk about NATO. By the way, did anyone see the video of the French fighter jets over Marseille and the colors that they were displaying? It was the Russian flag. Those were the colors. The order was the Russian flag. So was this a mistake? Did the fighter jets make a mistake, or was the color order, was that intentional in order to honor the Victory Day commemoration? I don't know. I don't know if that was a mistake or if that was done intentionally to honor those that fought in World War II and won in World War II. I don't know. But let's now talk about NATO. And we have a statement from none other than Mr. NATO chief himself, Stoltenberg. This is what Stoltenberg said. Oh, check out the dog that Lukashenko brought to the Victory Day celebration. Cool. Lukashenko. Anyway, let's get that quote from Stoltenberg. NATO has no intention of...
Duran, right?
That's right. Oh, yeah? Fantastic. Fantastic.
Great
I'm recording right now, actually. Yeah, you guys are going to be on video. All right, man. Take care, fellas. Take care. Well, no. It's filming this way. No, man. No. It's better for them to hear you. It's okay, but you don't want to be on video, man. All right, man. Take care. So, yeah, that was from Stoltenberg. NATO has no intention of being directly involved in the conflict in Ukraine. The alliance will not send troops there. Interesting statement from Stoltenberg. What changed NATO's mind? Could it be the tactical nuclear drills? I don't know. Could it be what the foreign ministry told the French and UK ambassador the other day? I don't know. I really don't know. But, you have to be a bit careful, a bit cautious with Stoltenberg's statement, because he says NATO has no intention of being directly involved in the conflict in Ukraine. So you always have to read his statements and his words carefully. Not that they're his words, what the scriptwriters prepare for Stoltenberg to read. Anyway, the Italian publication Corriere della Sera, it is saying that NATO, when it meets in July, it's going to put out a policy document. It's going to put together some sort of document where they are going to state in this document, once again, that NATO would adhere to no boots on the ground principle. And the Italian publication said that this is one of the key phrases in this document. A no boots on the ground principle. That is going to be enshrined in some sort of NATO policy document when NATO meets in July. But something else is going to happen during that meeting in July. And I've actually reported on this in a video I made about a month ago, which is that NATO is going to move the collective West. The collective West is going to, let's go this way, actually. Let's walk to the church. The collective West is going to shift the management of Project Ukraine away from the contact group that meets in Germany, and it's going to fall under NATO. So that's also going to happen in July. So NATO's creating another revenue stream. So they'll be able to get money from member states and say that money is going to go to Project Ukraine, whatever Project Ukraine becomes in a year or two. And that's going to be a reason for NATO to exist. And another, let's go this way, another revenue stream for NATO. It won't only be about money for weapons defense budget for NATO. They'll also tack on a little extra for weapons and money to Project Ukraine. And 10% for the big guy. You can't forget the 10% for the big guy. So the Russian military in the conflict in Ukraine, they continue to advance. Yesterday, we got reports that the Russian military, they confirmed that they had captured 2 more villages, one in Kharkov, east of Kupiansk, Kislovka, so an important area for Russia to capture, and they also captured a village in the Donetsk region, Novokalinovo, which is close to Ocheretina. So the Russian military continues to advance. The parliament in Ukraine, they passed a law which says they can They can now recruit from prisons. The military can now get people in prison and send them to the front lines. I think in exchange for their freedom or something, right? If they make it out. If they make it out alive, then they're free. But that's now been passed by the parliament in Ukraine. And it was the collective West media that about a year ago, they were talking about how Wagner is recruiting from the prisons in Russia. Wagner is a bunch of convicts. Remember all those stories? And now you have the parliament, not Wagner, the parliament in Ukraine saying that the Ukraine military, the professional military, can now go into prisons and recruit, if that's the right word. Oh boy. So what else? What else is going on in the world today? Yes, the other big story for the day is that the EU yesterday, they finally agreed, they agreed to use the proceeds from the Russian frozen assets to give them to Project Ukraine. 90% of the money in the agreement, 90% of the money is going to go to weapons, and 10% of the money is going to go to other stuff. And the reason they structured it like this is because of countries like Slovakia and Hungary, which were saying that they don't want to use the proceeds from the Russian frozen assets in order to deliver weapons to Ukraine. I believe Hungary, Slovakia, Ireland, a couple other countries were saying we don't want to be on record as sending weapons to Ukraine. And so that's why they did this 90-10 split. And don't forget 10% for the big guy. So maybe it's an 80-10-10 split. I don't know. I have to do my Annalena math. 10% to other, 90% to weapons, but you got to add in there the 10% for the big guys. So let's remove that 10% from the 90%. 90 minus 10 is 80. 80, 10, 10 is equal to 100. Yeah, okay. Annalena 360 math never fails. So yeah, they agreed to taking the proceeds, the interest, the money that the 200 billion is generating, according to the European Union. They figured out the legal loophole, though I don't have the details as to what exactly that legal loophole is, but they're saying that it's well within their rights legally to use the proceeds from the 200 billion in frozen assets. I still think it's theft. It's theft. But let me read you a little bit from The Guardian. EU reaches deal on using profits from Russia's frozen assets for Ukraine. EU member states decided that 90% of the windfall profits would go on weapons for Ukraine and the remaining 10% on non-lethal aid. Okay, we talked about that. Austria and Hungary were two countries that said they do not wish to fund arms. Okay, here's the important part of this Guardian article. Check this out. Check it out. The EU, wary of the legal ramifications of seizing the entire cache of Russian assets, decided it could give the profits to Ukraine after concluding Moscow had no legal right to these funds. But finding a deal has been complicated by divisions about how to spend the money. Euroclear's management fees and Belgium's 25% tax on corporate profits. Okay, so the key line is that after concluding, it's this part, after concluding Moscow had no legal right to these funds. Basically, it's the EU concluding that that a country, an entity, maybe you, maybe me, I don't know, I don't know, but the interest, the profits that an investment earns, you don't have a legal right to it. That's what they're saying. Oh boy, this is a slippery, we're talking a slippery, slippery slope here. Wow. I think a lot of countries, a lot of wealthy investors, wealthy individuals are going to be freaking out over this decision. You're telling me that if I invest my money in the European Union and I start generating some nice profits, some nice earnings off of that investment, it doesn't belong to me? Those profits don't belong to me? Bro. Anyway, here is what Kaya Kallis posted on Twitter X. Crucial decision by the EU to hand over profits from Russian frozen assets, including for military aid to Ukraine. Thank you at EU 2024 BE, I think that stands for Belgium, for efforts to reach the deal. But we can't stop here. We must find a way to use Russia's frozen assets entirely. Yeah. So crazy Kala, she's saying, nah, the interest earned, the profits earned is not enough to steal. That's not good enough. We have to go after all of it. Yeah, like that's not going to really, really freak people out. Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead, Kala. Go ahead. Do it. Do it. Ursula, she posted, Ursula von der Pirate, she posted, I welcome today's political agreement on our proposal to use the proceeds from immobilized Russian assets for Ukraine. There could be no stronger symbol and no greater use for that money than to make Ukraine and all of Europe a safer place to live. And Kim.com, he replies to Ursula's post with one word: theft. Need I say more? Need I say more? Yeah, theft. That's all it is. It's theft. So von der Leyen, she's facing some troubles in her re-election campaign, or should we call it her reappointment campaign, because it looks like Macron has turned on Ursula. Yep, I knew it. Macron senses that Germany is weak, and he wants to be the emperor of Europe, and Ursula, well, she's a problem because Ursula is a puppet of other forces. She's not a puppet of Macron, and Macron wants to place his puppet in power in Brussels. And so Ursula, as she is trying to get appointed for another term, she is under a whole lot of criticism. Let's see here. The European Commission President's policies and allegations of nepotism are among the reasons Swiss newspaper Neue Zürcher Zeitung claims. In an article on Wednesday, Neue Zürcher Zeitung claimed that in the capitals, many are dissatisfied with von der Leyen's record, with her excessive climate policy, and the weakening economy. The media outlet added that accusations of nepotism and non-transparency have also cast a shadow on her prospects. According to the Swiss newspaper, Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, along with French President Macron, are considering alternatives to von der Leyen, including former European Central Bank President Draghi. Wow, Meloni is also turning on von der Leyen. Wow. I guess Meloni is still upset over von der Leyen's "We've got tools" statement during the Italian elections, huh? And of course, Draghi would be good for Meloni because Draghi would be representing Italy. Macron would love Draghi to be there because Draghi would be loyal to the Macron side of things. So they're pushing for Draghi. Oh boy, Draghi, the former ECB head. Now they're trying to maneuver him to become the Commission president. When in doubt, if you're in Europe When in doubt, call on Draghi. He can fill any position in the European Union. Yeah. Wow, Meloni is turning on von der Leyen. That's really, really interesting. And she's teaming up with Macron. M&M, Meloni and Macron, the M&M duo. Oh boy. So what else should we talk about? How about the snow during Victory Day? How powerful of a picture was that we had some snow on May 9th in Moscow to celebrate the victory in Победы. That was awesome. What a message that sends. I thought it was really fitting that the weather was like that in Moscow. I don't know. It just felt right, you know. Anyway, Xi Jinping is in Hungary, and Viktor Orban went to the airport along with Peter Szijjártó, the foreign minister, to welcome the Chinese leader. What a welcome Hungary gave to Xi Jinping. What a welcome Serbia gave to Xi Jinping. I mean, an amazing welcome that Orban had for Xi Jinping as he landed on the tarmac. There was a celebration, dancing, music. Incredible. Incredible. So it's going to be interesting to see what Xi Jinping and Orban discuss and what they agree to. A very big meeting taking place in Hungary at this moment. Does Biden get these kinds of welcomes when he visits countries? I don't think so. I don't think so. But let's talk about Biden. Why not? And he gave an interview to Erin Burnett of CNN. So they called up Erin Burnett and they told her she's very loyal to the establishment, and they told her, we need some help with Bidenopolis, so you gotta interview him. And Erin Burnett, being the very loyal media foot soldier that she is, she conducted her softball interview with Biden. I don't know if you remember Erin Burnett. She was the journalist who traveled to Kiev, and she had that interview with Zelensky where they were walking in the park or wherever they were walking, and she was gushing over Zelensky. You know, hearts and butterflies were all around Erin Burnett as she was talking to Zelensky about his hobbies and his likes and what he does to relax. And Zelensky was telling Erin Burnett, I like to listen to music. I wake up in morning and I listen to AC/DC. And Erin Burnett was like, AC/DC, I love AC/DC. And Zelensky was like, oh, you like AC/DC? And Burnett was like, I love AC/DC. And Zelensky was like, oh, very good. I like AC/DC too. You remember that interview, right? I'm exaggerating it a bit. But yeah, they sent out Erin Burnett to interview Biden, and they talked about Rafah. That is what they talked about. And Biden admitted in this interview, not from Erin Burnett's line of questioning, she didn't press Biden or anything like that, but Biden being Biden, he admitted that U.S. weapons had been used, are used to kill civilians in Gaza. He admitted to that. And then he started to talk about his red lines, right? From the Associated Press, Biden says the U.S. won't supply weapons for Israel to attack Rafah, in warning to ally. Here's what Biden said. They haven't gotten into the population centers. What they did was right on the border. Biden told CNN's Erin Burnett in an interview on Wednesday, I made it clear that if they go into Rafah, they haven't gone in Rafah yet. If they go into Rafah, I'm not supplying the weapons that have been used historically to deal with Rafah, to deal with the cities and deal with that problem, Biden added. So yeah, Biden was trying to say that they haven't gone into Rafah just yet. They're just on the outskirts. So we're still supporting Israel in its operations, and we're still supplying Israel weapons, though we have held back some artillery from Israel. But for the most part, we haven't cut off Israel just yet, because they haven't quite entered the city of Rafah. That's what he was telling Aaron Burnett. And then he said, we're not going to supply the weapons and artillery shells, he said, while reiterating Washington's commitment to Israel's defense. We're going to continue to make sure Israel is secure in terms of the Iron Dome and their ability to respond to attacks that came out of the Middle East recently. So if Israel does attack Rafah, Biden says that they're not going to supply Israel with weapons. And he did say that they have held back artillery shells. And here Aaron Burnett asked him artillery, and Biden was like, artillery. So he wanted to make it clear that he's going to continue to send weapons to Israel. He's going to continue to make sure Israel's secure and the Iron Dome and all that stuff. But when it comes to Rafah, here's what Biden was saying. When it comes to Rafah, if the Israeli military enters into Rafah, not on the outskirts, if they enter into Rafah, then Biden's going to stop supplying artillery shells. That's pretty much what he was saying, which I don't believe. I just think that the U.S. is running low on artillery. That's what I think is going on, and they're using this Rafah thing as an excuse, as a way to hide the fact that they are running low on artillery. They need to produce more because they're sending artillery to Israel, they're sending artillery to Ukraine, and Ukraine is very hungry for artillery. And I think they're just using this whole artillery Rafah thing to cover over the fact that they're running low on artillery. But who knows? Who knows? That is what Biden said, which is, his statement was just nonsense. I mean, if you believe his statement, well then, yeah, I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say. I've got something to sell you, but I just can't think what I have to sell you at this moment. But yeah, it was nonsense. His statement was nonsense. It was fiction. You could tell just by watching Biden that this is not as he was making it out to be, that he's put down these red lines, and if Israel enters Rafah, then he's going to stop supporting Israel because Israel's crossed these red lines. That's not going to happen. Not going to happen. Never, ever, ever. Never, ever, ever. Anyway, check out the interview with Aaron Burnett on CNN. And let's talk about Rumble. I've got an update on Rumble. Yesterday, I reported on a Twitter X post from the Rumble CEO, who said that Rumble had been blocked in Russia. And the Rumble CEO, Chris Pavlovsky, he was in Twitter X Spaces the other day, and he explained a bit as to what is happening, what is causing this block of Rumble in Russia. When I was watching the Victory Day celebrations, I was watching them on Rumble via RT. RT is publishing on Rumble. So why in God's name would Russia block Rumble? Doesn't make any sense. Here's what Chris Pavlovsky said on this Twitter X Spaces. Quote, "We received multiple orders from Russia with which we didn't comply. I don't have the orders in front of me right now, but we might release them in due time. We're just looking at a few legal options. What I do remember about these orders is that one of the accounts focused on marijuana. Another seemed to be some kind of conspiracy channel. The other channel seemed to be an Arabic channel that was political in the Arabic language. Those were the types of channels that they wanted us to remove. We didn't see that they violated our terms of service, so we denied the orders, and they shut us off at the IP level." Something doesn't feel right. Something feels very off with this blocking of Rumble. Either this was done by someone in the communication watchdog without considering everything that's going on with Rumble and the fact that Rumble hasn't censored Russian media. I don't know, something might be going on there, and someone in the communications watchdog decided to block Rumble because of some videos that they wanted to be taken down, or something else is going on. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm very curious to see the documents. If they do publish these documents from the Russian government, I'm curious to see what exactly they are saying. It just doesn't make any sense. Why would Russia block a platform that has not censored Russia because of videos on marijuana or videos on in Arabic, or a conspiracy theory channel? Why would Russia want those removed? It doesn't make any sense at all. If this is indeed the case, my feeling on this is this can be resolved. If Rumble reaches out to the Russian communications watchdog, reaches out to RT, this should be resolved very easily. If this is the case, that Rumble has been blocked because of a couple of channels on conspiracy theories and marijuana. Unless there's something more going on here that we just don't know about, that maybe Rumble doesn't know about. I don't know. I can't figure it out, but something doesn't make sense. Anyway, that's the update on Rumble. And let's do some clown worlds. Should we do some clown worlds? Yeah, I think I got most of the news knocked out. So Lithuania is considering sending soldiers to Ukraine, according to the Financial Times. Why Lithuania is considering sending soldiers to Ukraine. And I think the Financial Times, they misspelled a word in this title. This title should probably read, Why Lithuania is Considering Sending a Soldier to Ukraine. Da-da-da. Yeah. They've got one soldier. We got one soldier. We're going to send him to Ukraine. No, I'm just joking. We know that Lithuania has a big, massive, powerful military that is going to go to Ukraine, according to the president or the prime minister. She said that Lithuania is going to go to Ukraine so that they can train Ukrainian soldiers. Train them in what? Train them in what? What are you going to train them for? I don't understand. What a bunch of you-know-what. What a bunch of you-know-what. I'm next to a church, so I won't say it. But yeah, that's not being honest, Miss Prime Minister or President, or whatever your title is. That's not being honest. You want to send soldiers to Ukraine because you think that will goad other NATO countries to sending their soldiers to Ukraine, with the ultimate goal of trying to pull the U.S. into Ukraine so that you can get some sort of World War III. Is that your goal? To get World War III? Lithuania, have you not seen where you're located? If there's a World War III, Lithuania, you're going to be the first to go, believe me. I don't understand their thinking. It's really bizarre. But anyway, that's what this is all about. They want to try to pull in France and the UK and eventually the United States so that we can have a full-on war. Well done, Lithuania. I don't think the world is prepared to sacrifice itself for this prime minister or president of Lithuania. Anyway, we have the story. This is a weird one, of RFK Jr. and the dead worm in his brain. From the New York Times, RFK Jr. says doctors found a dead worm in his brain. The presidential candidate has faced previously undisclosed health issues, including a parasite that he said ate part of his brain. A lot of people are talking about this story. This is a weird one. RFK Jr. said that he was in South America and most likely he got some sort of parasite, and the parasite worked its way up into his brain and was lodged in his brain and ate a part of his brain. And the doctors thought it was something else, and they thought it was cancerous or something like that. And then they realized, wait a minute, you got a worm in your brain? What a weird story this is. I don't understand the reasoning for RFK Jr. to talk about this. I really don't. But anyway, it's out there now. Did the New York Times find this through medical records? I don't know. Did RFK disclose this? I don't know how this story even got out there, but it's out there and everyone's talking about it. And RFK Jr. tweeted, "I offered to eat 5 more brain worms and still beat President Trump and President Biden in a debate." I don't know about beating President Trump in a debate, but Mr. Kennedy, you could probably eat 50 more brain worms and still beat President Biden in a debate. The worm can beat President Biden in a debate. The dead worm, the dead parasite worm. If you put up a dead parasite worm to debate Biden, the dead parasite worm would win. Boy. Anyway, let's do a final clown world and we'll end this video. Boy, the world is crazy, man. It is crazy. And there's nowhere crazier right now than Eurovision. I remember a time when Eurovision was about the songs and the songs in the language of that country. The Greek participants in Eurovision would sing in Greek, and the Serbian participants in Eurovision would sing in Serbian, and French and France and French, and Spanish, Spain and Spanish. I mean, that was Eurovision, right? And everyone would sing. There was no real shows or anything like that. They would just get in front of the mic and sing their song, and they would be judged on how good the song was. I also remember a time when Eurovision was just about Europe. Now it's got like every country in the world, except for the United States. I think the US is like the only country that isn't participating in Eurovision. That's it. Though I can't imagine who the United States would send to a Eurovision Song Contest. Who would the US send to a Eurovision Song Contest? Let me know in the comments down below. Who would the US send to the Eurovision Song Contest? My God. Oh boy. So yesterday I talked about the song from Ireland, the artist and the song from Ireland, which was demonic, I guess, for lack of a better word. Thank God we got the protection of this beautiful church. The forces of good will always protect us. But yeah, we talked about Ireland's song yesterday. And we also had the song from Finland, which, once again, I won't put the video on the screen because of Eurovision copyright stuff, but the song from Finland was really bizarre. I think the guy was running around in his underwear or naked or something like that. I don't know, but who cares about the song, the music? I don't even think you need to sing. To be quite honest, I don't think you need to sing or play an instrument or anything like that. That's Eurovision. Anyway, that's the video, everybody. TheDuran.locals.com. We are on Rumble, Odysee, BitChute, Telegram, Rockfin, and Twitter X. Go to the Duran shop. Pick up some limited edition merch. The link is in the description box down below. Take care.